Direct News TV. December 28, 2023. Israel-Hamas war live: 50 killed in Gaza in Israeli attacks, ministry. 50 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli strikes in Gaza's Beit Lahia, Khan Yunis and Al-Maghazi areas on Thursday, the Gaza Health Ministry said. The Palestinian Red Crescent says at least 10 people have been killed and 12 injured in an attack near Al-Amal Hospital in the southern city of Khan Yunis. Palestinian killed by Israeli forces in occupied West Bank. A Palestinian man has been killed by Israeli forces near the tunnel checkpoint, west of Bethlehem. The Ministry of Health identified the man as Mohammed Sail Abdelkader al-Juwandi, 38, from Yatta, south of Hebron in the occupied West Bank. He was taken to the Beit Gala hospital where he was pronounced dead. U.S. targets Houthi financing with new sanctions. The U.S. Treasury says in a statement that it has sanctioned the head of the Currency Exchangers Association in Sana'a, Yemen, and 3 exchange houses in Yemen and Turkey. The entities are responsible for facilitating the flow of Iranian financial assistance to Houthi forces and their destabilizing activities, the Treasury said. Today's action underscores our resolve to restrict the illicit flow of funds to the Houthis, who continue to conduct dangerous attacks on international shipping and risk further destabilizing the region, said Treasury official Brian E. Nelson, according to the statement. Last week, the U.S. announced the formation of an international coalition to counter the effects of the Yemeni group's continued attacks on commercial vessels in the Red Sea, which the Houthis say are being carried out in sympathy with the Palestinians. Houthi officials have said that this coalition will not deter them. Israeli War Cabinet to discuss plans for post-war Gaza, Israeli media. The meeting will reportedly be the first time the cabinet, created at the beginning of the war, will discuss what happens when Israeli operations in Gaza eventually end. Prime Minister Netanyahu has previously rejected the prospect of an international force taking control of the enclave, saying Israel would take indefinite control of Gaza's security. Netanyahu has also said that neither Hamas nor the Palestinian Authority would take administrative control of Gaza, but he has not presented a more detailed plan. Far-right Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir criticized the reported meeting on X, saying the war cabinet was created to manage the war, not the day after. Ben-Gvir is not a member of the war cabinet but is a member of the wider security cabinet. Majority of Israeli Jews support the removal of Palestinians from Gaza. Anthony Lowenstein, an Australian-German freelance investigative journalist and author, says that even before October 7, the majority of Israeli Jewish citizens favored the relocation of Palestinians from Gaza. Israeli Jewish society has been radicalized, Lowenstein said. There was a poll just this week that found 70 to 80% of Israeli Jews support the idea of finding somewhere else for Palestinians in Gaza to be removed. Israel claims that this is somehow voluntary, which is nonsense. Gaza is being made uninhabitable deliberately, and therefore there are many other countries that are potentially being forced or strong-armed or offered other deals, to take in Palestinians. Bribing other countries to take in Palestinians has been a decades-old policy of Israel, the author said. As soon as the 1967 war happened, there was a convening of the Israeli cabinet and there was a serious discussion at the highest levels to find ways to remove what they regarded as excess Arabs that would dilute, in their view, the Jewish population, he said. It's never really worked. Virtually no Palestinians wanted to leave, and no other nations have been bribed enough. But the plan has always been there, and that has accelerated since October 7. Israeli conscientious objector says she refuses to be part of endless cycle of bloodshed. Sophie Or, who has refused to enlist in the Israeli army, tells Al Jazeera that she will not take part in what she describes as the Israeli army's violent policies of oppression and apartheid. I choose to refuse because there is no military solution to a political problem, and now with the war that has become more apparent than ever, she said from the town of Pardes Hannah. Or explained that she hoped to reach young Israelis, even though she described herself as being part of a minority. Israeli society is an extremely militaristic one, and refusing to serve is not an accepted thing, and I am called a traitor, a self-hating Jew, or said. I get wishes for me to be raped or killed. And since the war started it has gotten worse. There has been a shift to the right, and the right was already strong. She explained that left-wing activists, and especially Palestinian citizens of Israel, faced repression for their beliefs and positions. Hopes to reach young Israelis in particular, because peace is the only option. There are 7 million Palestinians here and 7 million Israeli Jews here, and no one is going anywhere. I am worried, but it's worth it because if only one person hears my words, and it makes them think, then it's worth it and I'm willing to endure the consequences of that, or added. Gantz says Gaza fighting to be continuous, powerful and deeper. The former Minister of Defense, who is among the 3 main members of the Israeli War Cabinet, has spoken after an operational review of southern Israel. We are ready for the next phase in the fighting, which will be continuous, powerful and deeper than Hamas imagines, he told reporters. In case you're just joining us, it's 6 p.m., 1600 hours Greenwich Mean Time, in the occupied Palestinian territories and Israel. Let's bring you up to speed on the most recent developments. Gaza's Ministry of Health spokesperson, Ashraf al-Qudra, says the death toll in Gaza since October 7 has risen to 21,320. Al Jazeera is getting reports of Palestinian casualties in an Israeli airstrike that has targeted the town of Beit Hanun in northern Gaza. The Palestinian Red Crescent Society, PRCS, condemned the Israeli targeting of Al-Amal Hospital in Gaza, which killed 10 people and injured 21 others. UNICEF's regional MENA director, Adel Khoury, says 124 Palestinian and 6 Israeli children were killed in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem since the year began. Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati has called for an end to the Israeli aggression against Gaza and southern Lebanon, as Israel ramps up its cross-border attacks on Hezbollah positions in southern Lebanon. Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis operating without 80% of staff, Dr. Mohammed Kandil has described scenes of desperation in Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis, the largest hospital in the south of Gaza and the second largest in the whole of the enclave. Grappling with severe shortages of supplies, including anesthetics and pain medicines, the hospital is also dealing with a severe shortage of health workers unable to provide their services due to the fighting. We lost around 80% of the medical staff, doctors and nurses who cannot reach the hospitals. One thing is that the hospital is unsafe. The Al-Shifa hospital scenario and other hospital scenarios were scary and they feel unsafe, he said, referring to the Israeli siege of Al-Shifa in Gaza City. The other reason is the displacement wave, the displacement orders. Our physicians are in a very terrible situation, they have to secure their family. The big dream now for many physicians is to have a tent to put his kids inside rather than to leave them under the sky, he told Al Jazeera. If this hospital is closed, and service is off, that means that the health system in the south will be, zero almost, Kandil said. Armenian Patriarchate of Jerusalem reports settler attack on clergy. The Armenian Patriarchate of Jerusalem has released a statement describing recent acts of settler violence against its community. It reported that more than 30 armed people, in ski masks with lethal and less than lethal weaponry including powerful nerve agents that have incapacitated dozens of our clergy, broke into the grounds of the Cow's Garden and began their vicious assault. A seminary is located in Cow's Garden in the Armenian quarter of the Old City in East Jerusalem. It is now the subject of a land dispute concerning its lease to an Israeli-Australian businessman who plans to build a luxury hotel there. Palestinians killed in Israeli strike in Beit Hanun, reports. We're getting reports of Palestinian casualties in an Israeli airstrike that has targeted a group of civilians returning to the town of Beit Hanun in northern Gaza. An Al Jazeera Arabic reporter in Gaza said 5 people have been killed, while the Palestinian news agency Wafa did not give a specific number. Since October 7, more than 21,320 Palestinians in Gaza have been killed and 54,000 wounded. Hezbollah and Israel confirm recent cross-border attacks. We've reported on the recent trade of fire between Hezbollah and Israeli forces. Both sides have now confirmed that they attacked each other's positions. Hezbollah said its fighters hit an Israeli military site around the Sheba farms. The military spokesperson said Israeli forces struck several Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. He also confirmed several missile launches into Israel but said the incident ended without casualties. My name is Kingsley. Please like, share, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can be the first to be notified whenever we post. You won't regret it.